rồi cơ mà.
Smoking grenade. Cover me.
Ồ má, làm zoom. Mày chặn thùng hàng á. Ô. Trời ơi, chết sạch. Ok, đã xong kèo với Duy Duy. Thống nhất lại là được 572. 572. Mệt thế, bắn trận này xong mệt vãi. Ngồi liên tục. Đi bắn C4 nhá anh em. Làm vài trận C4 rồi nghỉ. Cũng gần 3 tiếng rồi. Đi bắn bắn danh, làm trận danh.
Khó nè.
Gấu thế nhờ. Hình như vừa có chuyển khoản đây này. 100k đã nhận được của Duy Duy. Cảm ơn Duy nhiều nhá. Mình nhận được rồi. Thank you bạn. Quá hay, hôm nay liếm được 3 kèo.
Lựu đạn nè. nè, né đi. Cần hỗ trợ. Khó nè. Lựu đạn nè, né đi. Quá bình thường.
À luôn, à luôn.
Mù nè.
Cầu một, cầu một. Mình nhận được rồi, cảm ơn Duy nhiều nha. Thank you. Nếu mà 500 kill súng đấy thì dễ thật. Mà 200 thì còn sợ sợ một tí, nhưng mà súng đấy thì không sợ.
Cần hỗ trợ.
Chủ shop ác là Huy à? Cũng tên là Huy, nhưng mà là Huy khác, không phải là Huy này. Hai Huy kết hợp với nhau.
Lựu đạn nè, né đi.
Cao A1.
Quá bình thường. Cũng tạm được. Mù nè.
Hai. Lên đây bạn ơi. Lên đây. Lên đây. Lên. Trời ơi. Thế mà không lên. Lên nhanh là ăn rồi.
Khó nè.
Đâu á? Cuối A, cuối A, cuối A.
Khu A. Có hàng nè. Khu B. Mù nè. Lựu đạn nè, né đi. Quá đỉnh. Đã đặt bom ở khu B.
Ừ, 5 kill nhá.
Khó nha. Mù nè.
Thôi chết tôi rồi anh em ơi. AF hay lắm.
Cần hỗ trợ. Khói nè.
Một B một A. Rồi thằng này A.
Lựu đạn né đi. Mù nè. Khói nè. Ốc mồm.
Vẫn còn luôn. Cuối B1. Cọp luôn. Móc đi, thằng này móc đi. Trời ơi bắn kìa. Hàm B, hàm B. Bát sắc của anh là bao nhiêu trong danh đó? Mùa này có 20 mạng. Mùa trước 24 mạng. Ôi thôi chết rồi, trượt nó rồi. Mùa trước tại sao tôi bắn được 24 mạng liền, vãi nồi. Ôi chốt nào. Thua bây giờ. Trời ơi, sao lại bắn trượt nó quả đấy được nhờ ta.
Khói nè. Lựu đạn né đi. Lựu đạn né đi. Võ mồm. Quá bình thường. Mu nè.
Còn đúng một cc luôn. Đây này, mắc kill được có 20 kill thật. Mùa này ít, mùa này không ăn thua. Thêm trận nữa rồi nghỉ nhá. Buông chuối chào Huy Phách nha. Thật ra thì cần ăn chuối bắn nhau suốt mà ngày xưa ấy. Lạ gì nữa, lạ gì nhau nữa. Ngày xưa anh em bắn với nhau suốt. Bị chuối hành suốt. Tối qua vừa bắn chung trận đấy, tôi nghỉ luôn. Căng rồi, trận này căng rồi. Trận này mới là trận căng này. Map này tôi không bắn được. Map này bắn kéo lắm. B, AF, AF, AF.
Khói nè. Lựu đạn nè, né đi. Đã đặt bom ở khu A. Mu nè.
Chia ra chuối giờ chia ra hết rồi, còn tôi với tí nhân lâu rồi không ngon à. À, mấy anh em cũng nghỉ hết rồi à? Trước có quen là Khoa ấy. Khoa nó là cái gì nhỉ? Chả biết chuối gì nữa. Tên nó giống nhau. Mấy anh em chuối quen tên toàn giống giống nhau, không biết ai với ai luôn.
Lựu đạn nè, né đi.
Nhớ mỗi Khoa.
Khói nè.
Khoa này. À, Kawa này. Hàn. Ngày trước mạnh nhưng mà giờ đỡ đỡ ở đấy. Thấy đỡ đỡ ở đấy. Chuối ấy. Chắc nghỉ hết rồi. Mem cũ nghỉ hết.
Cẩn thận, sau lưng. Khói nè.
Leo tháp cái nhỏ. Biết đâu phải bắt được.
Lựu đạn nè, né đi.
Ôi. Giờ còn ông hít với ông Nhân. Thôi chơi vui được rồi, giờ cần gì. Thời đấy suốt ngày bắn với chuối làm gì nữa. Mẹ ăn hành suốt đấy. Tôi ăn hành suốt đấy. Khoảng tầm 3-4 năm về trước. À đâu. 4 năm. 4 năm trước. Còn này.
Lựu đạn nè, né đi. Quá bình thường. Mù nè.
Ui rồi ôi, 2A còn. Chuối nông ca à? Tôi không nhớ tên ông chuối nào luôn. Mấy ông đặt tên giống nhau vãi. Anh bắn màn của hãng nào đấy á, Gigabyte em ơi. Trước bắn màn của MSI nhưng mà hỏng rồi. Giờ dùng Gigabyte. Bắn nó giống nhau, màn này giống nhau. Màn này 175 Hz, còn màn kia 165.
Khói nè.
Sida rồi này. B2F. Đang đi hôm nào comeback lại đậu quả màn. Người đầu tư kẻ ác ngon ngon trời. Đủ súng dùng là được rồi. Nick giờ nó cũng rẻ mà, có như ngày trước đâu. BF2. Mẹ thua ở đấy, đổi bên này thua ở đấy. Phải lên 687 bắn thôi. Team mình một thanh niên không chơi rồi. Một chết 6 kìa, bắn gì.
Khói nè. Quá bình thường.
Ồ má vẫn còn K3 này. K3 1. Nó nhìn khói, thằng này nó núp khói. Thằng chuối kia, SL chuối kia nó bắn khói kìa. Nãy cũng bị giết một phát rồi. Sao bên này thua không đỡ được rồi.
Cẩn thận, sau lưng. Khói nè.
Thế đứng AB đông thế. Tháp nó ngắm rồi, nó biết rồi. Phải trưởng. Nó bắn cọp, cọt, bắn cọt, hút thế. Không đỡ được rồi. Thôi tôi bắn A. Quả đấy bắn được nó, giết được nó là ngon đấy. Giết được nó là canh được C4 rồi. Tiếc thế.
Lựu đạn, né đi. Mù nè. Con nhặt rồi nhé.
Thua mẹ rồi.
Bom A nè.
Ê, không kịp rồi. Tiếc thế. Xử lý là hay rồi đấy nhưng mà vẫn ấy quá. Quả đấy biết thấy gỡ luôn nhỉ. Đèn đặt -2 điểm. Thôi nghỉ anh em ơi, nghỉ. Trưa mai gặp lại nhé, còn tối nay xin phép nghỉ một tối. Gỡ luôn là ngon rồi. Thôi tạm biệt cả nhà nhé, mình ọp đây. Đói quá. Đi đá bắt cơm đã.
Something that you want to do.
Right.
But was this an instance where you did hear no and just kept going?
I never heard no. Again.
Well, what did you hear?
I heard Doug said, I asked him, he put it off. I sent him an email, he didn't respond. I said, okay.
So Doug never gave you an answer?
No.
So
Doug's answer was, well, if he didn't respond, that's probably no.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so that's your first. That's
Doug's
a good,
world.
that's a pretty good
That's
hint.
in Doug's world. I never ask Howard anything.
No, but
okay?
you
I
wouldn't-
never bother him with anything.
Step away from this
Okay.
being as close to it as you are,
Right.
and think about it some other way. Think about it like I went to Howard and asked for the day off for something. I wanted to go to the Met game, right? And Howard didn't answer me. What would you think? What would you say to me?
Either he didn't get the email, or he
You
just
know he
didn't
gets
want
the
to.
e-
He
Or-
admitted on
or-
the-
keep going.
He didn't want to answer.
Right? Why would he not want to
He didn't want
answer?
to look like the bad guy, which he
Right.
said on the air.
Right.
He said, "I don't want to look like
Scott-
the bad
So I think-
guy." But what to me,
Wait, Scott,
not
Scott.
answering is looking worse than a bad guy.
You don't get
Scott,
to call the
you've been,
shots.
Scott, you've been here a very long time,
I
okay?
have. And I don't. I would
hold on.
normally not bother
Here's
anybody
the thing,
on
okay?
anything.
If I email Howard something and I don't get a response, that's a no. I know it's a no.
And
I
everybody
think-
here knows
Does
that.
anybody else think differently?
I think differently because sometimes I take it as, and not necessarily Scott's kind of situation, but I take it as, it's like, oh, should I work on this or that? And if there's not an exact no yet, you're not sure if this is the.
But you're
if this is
insane.
still
You
percolating.
understand that? Like
Yes.
you're not. You're an outlier.
Yeah.
You're
Be-
insane.
He's right in a way because if
Thank you.
Howard really wanted you to work on this or
no,
that,
no, I know.
he'd respond to you.
But I think sometimes Howard doesn't give a no because, well, first of all, he generally doesn't give no. That's true. But I think sometimes it's just like it's not necessarily a bad idea. It's just not for right now.
But he usually
Right,
I
so
would
don't
say-
do it right now.
He'll usually say, "Or look, I know I've sent stuff in," and he'll be like, "Hey, you know this is good. Maybe Fred can help polish it up, or let's go in a different angle." Like he usually does give suggestions.
Let me-
if
and
there's-
the other issue here is why is Scott, or frankly anybody, going to Howard in the first place when the protocol, as Howard said today, was you got to talk to Gary first.
always.
Let me go through it. So the Doug thing, Doug said probably not. He didn't get an answer. I waited about a week, and Doug said, let's see what happens. So after a week, Howard was doing stuff in my studio. So quickly I said, I know Doug sent you a note. What do you think?
Did you know that was on camera, by the way?
I had no idea.
Yeah. To me, it was on camera. It looked like Doug was there knowing you were going to ask, and it was engineered that it would be on camera.
I didn't even realize it.
And what did Howard say?
He said, now he could have ended it all a month ago by saying, I get that you want to bowl. I don't like the idea. We did it last year. I'm sorry.
I saw the tape because he's not answering the question.
What did he say?
You know what, Scott? I can't talk about this now. I got to
Yeah, he-
deal with some stuff, and he lied.
No, right. That's what he said. I said he could have ended it by saying what I just said, but he said, "You know what? I'm going to go in the back. I'm tired."
He avoided you. His
Yeah,
first
of
cry.
course.
Scott,
mistake.
Scott, this is Fitzsimmons logic you're using.
I was going to
here.
say, yes.
Of course, he avoided me, and I didn't appreciate
Didn't
that.
you think that Greg Fitzsimmons sounded like an idiot when he went through his whole thing with the book and Howard? I mean, didn't you think so? As an objective observer?
But Greg doesn't work for him for 26 years.
Because
Okay?
you sound exactly like him right
But Greg doesn't work for him for 26 years.
All right, so
this
how-
is like maybe the first request in all that time that I've made. Like
All right, so
this.
Howard avoids the question. What's your next move?
He said, "Let me talk to Tim and Gary."
So now you're waiting on Howard
So I
to get
waited
back
again.
to you?
I can give you. I can give you a little bit of background on this. By the way, I give you a tiny bit of background. Scott came to me to ask me about it, and I put Scott off.
Right,
I
he
knew.
said-
no,
so he
hold on,
said-
hold on. Let me
Go
finish
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
I knew the answer was no. Tim, for some bizarre reason, took. I said, Tim, did you talk to Scott yet? Because he came to me. And Tim's like, yeah, well, we have to discuss it. I had to remind Tim that we had discussed it. So Tim was a little slow getting the answer. And I could have said something to Scott, but it was actually, it's Tim's place to say it. Like, I didn't want to cut Tim's legs out. Tim is the one who should be having the discussion with him. And then when I heard Tim this morning, when I was talking to Tim, and Tim said, I said, Tim, what did you say to him? And he goes, not a good idea. I told him no. I go, well, did you tell him no, or did you tell him it's not a good idea? And while I don't think that Scott should misinterpret it any other way, not a good idea is no, I don't know why Tim didn't just say the answer's no.
Right. So Tim didn't say no to you, but he did say,
He said, "Let me advise you as a friend."
So
But
you-
even you said today,
But even you said you're not his friend today.
Well, I'm not his friend, but what does that mean? I mean, does it?
It sounds
is he
like-
giving me
God,
like
dude.
an unofficial answer, not officially?
what do
or-
you think?
What do you think,
You
man?
want this is like Richard Christie does it
Listen,
sometimes.
I'm
you
being,
want this
I'm
so
being
bad
very
that you-
particular here.
Yeah, you want
I
this
am.
so bad that you
I
don't
know,
want to read
I know
between
that,
the lines.
I didn't want to read between the lines.
You know what you are? You're the chick
Okay.
at the door who's crying and go, tell me to leave. I won't believe that we're over until you tell me to leave.
So
Okay,
he said
leave.
drop the
No,
issue.
really.
He said drop the issue, so I dropped the issue.
That's what happened to you guys.
Howard's not interested in covering it for radio, television. Fine,
Right.
I got it. Okay, let me see if I can get some vacation time off for those 3 days that I needed to.
Okay, so let's pick up there.
Yeah.
Who in the history of the show of the very main players do you know that's ever taken vacation time when the show is on?
Robin. Well, actually, she didn't. But Howard, I just thought of this. Howard actually moved his vacation so Robin can go to Guatemala.
Right.
Last year, he moved a vacation week for her. She had to go to Guatemala.
I got it.
You know that.
So you think you think that you think that
you asked me a question, and I gave you an answer. I didn't expect him to move the week. No.
But then why'd you bring it up?
Well, you answered. You asked me a question.
Okay.
Who
Should Howard have moved the week?
I didn't know. He shouldn't move.
Okay,
well,
so then
actually, okay, let him move the week.
No. So we got that.
I didn't expect
So
him-
let's say Howard said yes to that. You don't have an issue taking 3 personal days or 2. I don't know how many days
Vacation.
during a week that we're on live. You have no problem with that.
Well,
Someone
And
using
do you
your
think
office,
about
your board.
do you think
Well,
about the message it sends in terms of
okay,
you
so-
needing to be here?
So one time I was out for a medical issue for a few days.
Which
Right.
absolutely that's what
fine.
personal
Last
days.
year he sent me to Vegas, so I was out for 4 days
Right.
for that. So obviously someone did fill in for me those 2 times. I just made a request. I didn't think making a request was such a horrible thing.
It wasn't. The request isn't a horrible thing. The not taking no the first 5 times, you got a mostly an 85 to 90%
so
no, and not hearing what you want to hear. That's where it
I
gets
see
weird.
him in a minority here, but I just thought that I wanted to go. Okay,
No, that we got.
That's
I got that you wanted to go, and you were being what you were was being very. You started to become passive aggressive about it. Like you got to tell me no. When everybody tried to tell you no in a way that wouldn't hurt your feelings, that wouldn't make you feel bad, that wouldn't be dicky, and then it all came to this today, which nobody really wanted it to come to, but you.
And you stormed in there. There was Angry Scott who walked in there today yelling at Howard, telling him who. I mean, you were putting Howard in his place.
So the thing started 5 or 6 weeks ago when I first was approached, and I asked the question, and the answer, if I would have gotten 5 or 6 weeks ago, that would have been the end of it.
But most people,
Over.
everybody but
Done.
you thought you did have the answer.
Well, no, I didn't get an answer.
You got an answer.
Tim.
You just didn't hear it.
Tim, were you giving Scott friendly advice, or were you politely telling him no, drop it, move on?
I was politely telling him to drop it and move on. And because the thing is that we have a modified schedule now, and we all need to be here. Period. End of story. And I told him the time that I was in Minnesota when I came late because of my father, and Howard was giving me shit for that. But it's right. I mean, right is right. We're here to work, and,
I get
the
it.
show is on. When the show is on, he needs us here to support the show.
I thought wasn't unreasonable.
Nobody's saying that.
I
We're
got
saying
an
that you
answer
got
today.
No, you got an answer 5 weeks ago.
I didn't get an answer
From Doug and from
a
Tim.
non-answer is no answer in my world.
But you eventually did get the answer of no, they don't want Howard TV covering it because you said you came to this conclusion somehow, right?
Well,
so
drop
once you
the
got
bowling issue.
once you got
drop the bowling issue for
Right.
TV and
But then,
radio,
so-
which I did.
And then
Well,
you continued to try
when
to.
you're told to drop the bowling issue, and then a day later you put in for vacation to go bowling, you're not dropping the bowling. You're dropping the TV angle of it, trying to get a
Well,
free trip, but you haven't
I'm not
dropped
trying
the
to
bowling
get a free
angle.
trip. That has nothing to do with
I get that,
sorry.
but do you recognize that you want this so bad that you may not be thinking clearly because you do want it bad. I
Of course
understand
I
that.
do.
And
Of course I do. And I'm still disappointed, but I understand that. Yeah, they want me here. They need me here. And
By the way,
But it seemed like in a Sal sort of way, it took Howard to come on in the air, say, what the hell are you emailing me for? I am saying no. Doug's in the room. Gary's in the room. You talked about
okay,
Tim.
I needed to be hit over the head with a hammer.
Did you really, though?
Well, no. I 99% knew the answer was no, obviously, but I gave it another shot, thinking maybe I could change his mind. Maybe he's like, all right, for this.
So you did hear no then because you're trying to change his mind.
Well, I didn't hear. Heard no for what I heard no for was the TV and the radio don't want to cover it. It's not interesting. It's boring. We don't need to cover it.
I think people are missing the larger context of this isn't just one Scott incident, and the ability to read between the lines or understand what someone's trying to tell you something in a nice way is essential, not just to work on the Howard Stern show, but in business in general. But I think that this has nothing to do with bowling. This is my whole
You're
theory.
such a douchebag. Well, I mean, really.
Wait, should
You
wait to
don't
hear
like
it?
my theory.
Wait, hold on.
is-
Let him
Wait,
give his theory
Do you
and
not
then
want me
yell
to
at
say
him.
it's not about bowling, or it's all about bowling, Scott?
Okay,
Of course
but
it is.
I think he has a real problem taking orders from Tim. I've seen it. I know that Scott got upset. He wanted to hire somebody one time, and Tim said no, and he fucking flipped out about it in a very real and scary, loud way. I know one time Tim asked Scott for if he had any ideas how to upgrade his studio. Scott gave him some. I know Tim took some of the ideas and didn't take some of the other ideas, and I know Scott flipped out about that. Why do you ask me my advice if you're not going to take all my... I think the real issue is between Tim and Scott and has nothing to do with bowling.
Well,
I think, well, my opinion is that there's some underlying issue with Scott that he feels a victim and always a victim. And there are certain things that go on in